Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Reeltv. On our show, we report and discuss the latest movie news as well as bring you the scoop from behind the scenes in Hollywood. I'm your host, Connor Smith.
And I'm also your host, Eric Dowling. Today we'll be discussing Stephen King movies. Carrie's coming out next week, and a lot of hubbub. A lot of people are kind of upset that they're remaking it, but I don't know. It's finally coming back at it with a bigger budget. Things are going to look cooler.
CGI blood and everything. I think my one thing is that if a movie is great, like the original Carrie, Brian De Palma directed it, it's a classic. Like it's a horror classic, and it sort of is one of those staple movies like, you have the original Nightmare on Elm Street, Psycho. Carrie is one of those, The Exorcist. It is one of those classic horror movies. So I'm kind of thinking, like, if the original Carrie is so great, like, what are they going to add to this one that it's able to deviate itself from the original?
Chloe Grace Moretz is a fantastic actress. I think
I love her too.
She might have worked with some of the best people in Hollywood ever by age 16. So I'm very jealous of her.
I kind of have a crush on her. Like in interviews, she's like the smartest person ever.
Yeah, and like it's so weird because like we've like Dakota Fanning, like Lindsay Lohan, like all of these people, we've seen them grow up on camera, and it's just kind of weird to see her taking a more adult role than she has before. Because like Hit Girl is this more or less 13 to 14-year-old girl.
This is her first like high schooler. Like she's an adult now. I'm pretty sure she's in high school in Kick-Ass too.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I don't know really how. My one problem with her as Carrie is that she seems too normal to me. Like Carrie is beautiful. Like in the original, Sissy Spacek, she's gorgeous. But she's weird as hell. Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to sympathize with her, but you're not really supposed to like relate to her really. Like you're supposed to be like really sympathetic toward her, but like, and obviously feel bad when she gets pig's blood dumped on her. But like, I feel like Chloe Grace Moretz is just so normal.
I don't know, but I feel like she could be a good enough actress because she was in the American remake of Let Me In.
And that was great.
And I haven't seen that, but I've seen a good portion of the foreign one.
I Let the Right One In. That's great too.
And she probably has enough. That's probably why they casted her, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like just being that creepy. I think was she the friend of the vampire or like the vampire? I don't. Or whatever.
She was the vampire.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a creepy enough role that they probably casted her as Carrie.
It's a good one. But let's talk about like
other
Stephen, like because Stephen King is just sort of the pinnacle of
and
horror almost.
He has definitely a central theme of like three major issues. A, there has to be a mention of New England somewhere. If you go back and rewatch it, almost everything has a mention to New England. 2, there's always some sort of feud with the cops. And 3,
that's so true.
There's almost always a religious person that is just blown out of proportion and they are meant to look like one of the worst people in the world. Like, for example, in the movie The Mist, which might be one of my favorite Stephen King movie adaptations, the one woman, the religious zealot woman in the grocery store, you hate her. I don't think I've ever despised a woman so much in a movie than I did her. Because just everything that she wanted to do was like, no, you can't do this. And it was just
not
really,
a woman, but I don't know if anyone can top Jar Jar Binks. Just putting that out there.
True.
No, but I'd say if I had to rank my top 3 favorite Stephen King horrors, obviously Shawshank and Green Mile are great.
And Stand By Me.
But for horror, it would go, number 1 would be Misery, because nothing beats getting hit in the legs with a sledgehammer by Kathy Bates, who's just crazy and awesome. 2 would be Carrie. I rewatched the original last week in preparation for the remake, and it still holds up tremendously. And 3rd would be The Shining, because I just think The Shining is so psychological, and I love Jack Nicholson.
And we are talking about the Kubrick Shining, not the Stephen King Shining.
I'm talking about, the Jack Nicholson Kubrick Shining. Oh, yeah, because he made a remake. I forgot that for a second.
Yeah.
It was like a mini-series, right?
Yeah, it was not very well received. Stephen King is he still hates Kubrick, even though Kubrick's dead, but like he really regrets letting him do that. But I would say mine is The Shining, The Mist, and I don't think I've seen many others, but The Shining and The Mist were both just fantastically done, In The Shining, I really liked how he didn't stay true to the book, because I believe the book is like 800 or so pages. It's very long, very lengthy, and to condense that into a at least 2-hour movie is a huge undertaking. And I think Kubricked it. I can't.
I love it. I think it's great. And you know what I love about Stephen King is that even his like you have his great classics, like movie adaptions, and then you have the ones that are just dumb as heck, but they're so fun. Like Cujo. Like it's not like art, like it's not great, but it's like hilarious. Like the woman's trapped in the car and the dog's like, and it's funny. And I love Christine, the killer car. The Dead Zone, Christopher Walken as the main guy, hilarious. I'm trying to think of his other ones.
It was also like,
it is just so dumb, but it's so creepy. Like,
well, I hate clowns, so I can't even fathom trying to watch it. So I just let it go, and I'm just like, it exists.
They float. They all float. That was his line, where right before he kills a little kid and drags him into the sewer.
Yeah, that's probably why I haven't seen it. But like, also, Stephen King's written some very, very odd things. Like, he had a lot of like issues with alcoholism and stuff, and he went crazy, more for lack of a better term, for a good stretch of time, and he wrote a book literally about a killer washing machine. Why? Because he's Stephen King, and that's basically
what he does.
That's what he does. Yeah.
Do you want to hear something cool I found out about him the other day? And I don't have a source, so if this is wrong, please forgive me. But I heard that he's sort of going blind. He's like losing his sight, and his number one fear is like darkness.
Huh.
So like, isn't that kind of weird that the horror author is like? But so we've talked about his horrors. Obviously, just Misery and Carrie and The Shining, and
but also
Pet Sematary too.
And also
I love Pet
Lot.
Sematary.
Salem's Lot is really good, really creepy. I remember my dad, because my dad's a huge Stephen King fan, and he told one of my friends about Salem's Lot, a scene from it. And my friend literally couldn't sleep for like 2 days. He was terrified. He like had to like sleep in his parents' room and everything, and like he had to triple lock the windows and stuff.
I was scared when I saw it for the first time. I was in like middle school, like 6th grade or something, and the image of him as the moon, like when the guy's in the prison and he looks up and the clown, I mean Pennywise is like the moon. Yeah. That's creepy. Like I still am like thinking about.
But like also Stephen King's still writing, like releasing books at least once a year, and he just released a sequel to The Shining, which is it's called Dr. Sleep, and it's like Danny is like a middle-aged man, or at least significantly older, and there's this group of like outlaw bandits that are coming and killing the kids with The Shining, and I probably won't read it, but it just sounds really intriguing to me.
And his dramas.
Yeah, his dramas.
Oh my God, obviously, Shawshank Redemption is one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean, the performances are Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. And I still choke up about the old man who worked at the grocery store and then he killed himself. What was his name? Red is Morgan Freeman's character. I forget his name. Right, but it's just
heart-wrenching.
And I like Green Mile, obviously. When he's afraid of the dark. Oh my God, Tom Hanks. And that one's
now I think even with the passing of Michael Clark Duncan, like the Green Mile just kind of takes that next.
I remember the first time I watched that, I was like so moved by it. I was so, and Stand By Me. I mean, who doesn't like seeing getting leeches on your junk?
Yeah, River Phoenix.
So many like stars were in that
Kiefer
that grew
Sutherland
up.
And I mean, River Phoenix, I guess, never really grew up.
Moral of the story, Stephen King's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. And when we come back, we'll fill you in on all the latest theatrical releases as well. Actually, we're just doing theatrical releases. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you after the break.